Hey folks, I'm H2 and you're on the F3 channel. Hey, I appreciate you joining me here on the channel as we get at this wealth thing. So, the whole purpose of this channel is to try to give you information that I think you need in order for you to get ahead in this game of wealth accumulation. So the question I have for you today is, what value do you place on yourself? You can look in the want ads and you can see jobs out there for, hourly jobs, $10 an hour, $15 an hour, $20 an hour. And then it gets into salary, like, $20,000 a year, $40,000 a year. Some even list $100,000 or more per year. And so one will have to ask themselves, what makes those jobs pay that kind of salary? And so there are people, so all these jobs require certain people. How is it that different people can command different salary levels? And so as we think about that particular question, I'll just like to offer up some thoughts about that. So as we look at how much a job like that costs and the skills that are required in order to get a job like that, we have to do an inventory. And so as we look at ourselves, we have to take inventory on what are we bringing to the table. And let's talk about three specific things. First of all, what are you worth to yourself? What do you, if you were going to charge someone for your time, what are you worth? And so that might be $10 an hour, $20 an hour, $50 an hour, $100 an hour. You have to decide on what value you're going to place on your time. Many years ago, I learned when I was a contractor that my labor rate was $50 an hour. And so when you tell people that that was my labor rate, they would kind of freak out because they thought that was highway robbery. But when you factor in everything that has to go into that, $50 an hour was a steal. So fast forward, I had to learn to put a value, to put a price tag on my time. And in those instances where, someone didn't want to pay that kind of rate, well, they didn't want my particular service. The second part of the inventory you want to do is to find out what are you worth to others around you. And that might be, your family, your friends, your community. What value do you bring to those particular settings? And that'll help you put a price tag on your time. And then the third point is, what value has the market put on you? And so that goes back to what's your education, what's your experience, and what kind of skills you got. Because if you got skills that are in a particular industry that are long gone and not coming back, like coal mining, you might want to invest in yourself to develop some new skills that are marketable in today's business world. So to drive this point home, let me give you a little story of what happened yesterday. So I've been communicating with a recruiter in terms of perhaps taking a job overseas. And so once I connected to the recruiter and he asked me, what was it going to take for me to come on board? I told him $250,000. Yep. $250,000. That was the price. And so he couldn't pay that kind of price, and therefore I ain't going to work for him, but I already know what I'm worth in that particular field, and that's $250,000. And so if you want me to come work for you, so here's the notice, recruiters out there. If you want me to get off of my program and come work for your program, it's going to cost you $250,000. If you ain't got $250,000, I'm not your candidate. All right. So I'm telling you that just to drive home the point that you must know what you are worth, and you don't leave that to somebody else to determine. All right. So I think that'll help you. Folks, I appreciate you joining me here on the F3 channel. This is H2, and I'm signing off.